My name is Lisa and I'm a dating coach. Most guys that come to me for help usually want help in one of two areas, either approaching women and starting a conversation or keeping a conversation going and making it interesting. Today we're going to talk about how to approach women. So you have to understand that something that doesn't feel comfortable to you, you're going to have to get outside your comfort zone, and the only time you can actually grow as a human is when you do challenge yourself and get outside of your comfort zone. So baby steps, but do it. So you're going to make your goals to the conversations just as simple as having a great conversation, being curious about the other person. You want to also understand that you're in practice mode right now, and you will have bad experiences. You're not going to fly through this, obviously, but when you do have a bad experience, do not beat yourself up, because what you're doing now is you are rewiring the negative neural networks, the negative memories in your head with positive ones. The negative ones tell you that you can't talk to women. Look at what happened last time. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make a fool of yourself. So when you gain positive experiences, you will then rewire the old ones, and then eventually when you have enough, that's when you no longer have that anxiety, because you have set your wiring or your default thought process into you restructured it. It's now positive when it comes to this. So you want to practice with as many people as you can, not just women, just practice your conversation skills. So when you do have a negative experience, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do is beat yourself up. What you're going to do is you're going to analyze what happened, where you went wrong, and how you can make it better next time, how you can avoid that type of thing next time. So again, confidence is at the core of everything in dating coaching, but also in life. It just is. So I'm going to talk to you about being confident body language. However, if you are interested in learning how to develop sustainable, real, unbreakable confidence, find my Fiverr account. It's linked below. Simply message me. I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm not going to try to talk you into anything. Just message me and I will send you this ebook. It's based off a few authors that studies neuroscience and the science of thought. And I did this process. I cannot tell you, it is life-changing to go from no confidence to having confidence. First of all, I didn't even know what confidence was or how to get there. Becoming self-aware, learning how to regulate your emotions, accepting yourself for who you are. Anyway, so I digress. I go back to now you have to demonstrate positive, confident body language. So when you're standing up, are you standing up straight? How's your posture? Are you relaxed and comfortable? Do you have smooth gestures? Do you speak slowly? Are you not afraid to take pauses? So also, if you need some help in this department, familiarize yourself with what makes a great public speaker. And you can rehearse power poses. I know it sounds corny, but whatever. You also want to practice maybe saying like words like no or hello in the mirror, like no, 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 and just go, practice. And maybe you want to model somebody's behavior that you notice has this confident way about them. That's also a way to appear confident. So, okay, so let's get into it. How do you come up with things to say to a woman during, just say, a cold approach or at a bar. So wherever you are, you're going to take your surroundings into consideration and use that as a source to draw an observation from. And that's going to make things look a little more natural. So we'll get back to that, but also ask for a recommendation or advice. So like if you're online at Starbucks or something, you could turn around and be like, you know, I've been getting the same caramel macchiato for like 10, 15 years. I'm sick of it. Do you know what else is good here? I'm literally clueless or something. Or just say like you're at a restaurant and you find out there's an hour wait. So you can ask, a girl will be like, oh my gosh, this place is a zoo. This is the first time I've been here. My friends have been recommending that I go, you know, forever because I'm really into seafood. But do you happen to know of another place maybe around here that's just as good or maybe even better? You know, ask for recommendations and advice. So, but remember, because a lot of guys will prematurely do things without establishing a connection, without giving a woman anything to go with. Like, they'll ask for your number, but meanwhile, who the heck are you, you know? So I remember when I was bartending and one of the regulars was there, because he was a regular. My friend comes in to talk to me at the end of the bar, and he's like, hey, hottie, hey, he was saying to her, whatever, and she just kept walking, and he goes, bitch. I'm like, really? What did you expect her to do when you were like, hey, oh, hello, are you like my future husband? I mean, and then he started laughing. He's like, yeah, I really didn't think about that. I mean, I was like 20. This guy was like 45. I mean, just some people just don't think. So, you know, so you want to establish a connection. So, and then when you do finally get down, you know, get to the place where it's okay to ask for a number and be like, hey, you know, I'd really like to continue this. What's your number? This conversation. Or like maybe something like, well, what, you know, I'd really like to do this again, you know? But you have to make sure that you have established some good conversation detail first. And you've also gotten her name, because that, you know, is more important. So you want to just be able to know that you had a successful conversation first. So you want to aim for positive interactions, because that will associate positivity with you, and she'll be more inclined to want to see you again because she feels comfortable, and she'll know she'll have a good time. So when you know, when you are aiming to have a positive interaction, you want to ask interesting questions that elicit positive emotions. So like you want to ask like, hey, what's your favorite place to vacation? Or what motivates you? What inspires you? Stuff like that. So you want to initiate like a positive response, and also that can allow you guys to get to know each other on a deeper connection. You know, connecting over like what your passions are. You may not have the same one, but you both have a passion, and you can relate to each other feeling passionate about something. So, you know, another good thing to say to somebody, to just approach them. Say you're at the park, you see a girl, she's sitting down on the bench, and you say, hey, you look like a nice person. I want to introduce myself. My name is Matt. You know, so this is good, because when you are told by someone else, hey, you look like a nice person, you really want to live up to that for some reason. I don't know, it's like a psychological thing. You feel like you have to live up to that and show, yeah, I am a nice person. So that's a good one. And then how do you make a woman interested in getting to know you further? So I'm sure you guys have noticed this one when you do approach women, a cold approach. They're quite standoffish. They're not warm and like just embracing your questions. So, you know, you have to understand that although women find it flattering when they get approached, they also are not clear whether you're like a douchebag, whether you're like dangerous, whether you're gonna, you know, who knows. So are you safe to talk to? It's, you know, you have to let her know stuff about you, although she's not going to ask. So there's a way that you can kind of weave it in. So this is how you do it. You want to just subtly introduce up to 3 of your most admirable qualities and weave it into the conversation. You do not want to brag. You do not want to look arrogant. This will backfire. So like, okay, let's say you saw a woman and you said, oh, what an adorable dog you have. I'm going to guess that that's a toy Maltese. Well, because I'm incredibly familiar with dogs. One of my businesses is I own a foundation where we advocate for puppies and the treatment that they endure in puppy mills. Okay, so he obviously knows a lot about dogs, so he's going to speak to her about dogs and then throw in there what he does, which also can be perceived as he's kind of like promoting his business and the ethical treatment of puppies, and giving that information, then asking a question, which I kind of did it backwards there, but giving information like that will increase the chances that she's going to have some kind of a question back at you. So if she's completely standoffish, she might be tempted, but she's still being standoffish. But when you say something like, oh, I advocate for puppies, but it has to be true, that's going to let the guard down a little bit. So think of some things about yourself that you feel would help let a woman's guard down so she knows you're not a creep. So you can also say something like, oh, you're from Italy. Oh, I travel to Europe all the time for my job, but I've never been to Italy. I've always wanted to go. Tell me some things that maybe tourists don't know that the locals know that's awesome about Italy. So what that is, it is telling her that you're successful. You know, you travel a lot. You know, women love guys that travel because we like to travel. So you are also asking her a question, giving her some, you know, something to, I don't know, something to work with there. So another example is like, oh, now I see why I was so drawn to you. You work in the medical industry, right? Remember, I'm a guy. I've been a physician over at Baptist for about 15 years now. So how long have you been there? You know, something like that. So it's like the only reason why he's mentioning that he's a physician is because he knows that she's in the medical industry herself. I mean, there's slick ways to throw things into conversation. And the reason why it's a good idea, not to brag, but just to give, because if you're meeting somebody, you know, this person doesn't know you from a hole in the wall, they're not going to be really attracted to you until they learn things about you that would elicit some kind of like response in her that, you know, or just curiosity or, you know, intrigue about getting to know you. Like, oh, maybe this guy isn't so bad, you know. So the more, but if she doesn't learn anything about you, you're just some stranger who has talked to her, and it happens all the time. You want to stand out. So you're volunteering information about yourself to make her feel safe. It'll also make her attracted to you, possibly, and show her that you're a good catch, you know. And otherwise, she's never gonna know. So another thing is helpful in associating positivity with you is making her laugh. Now, obviously, we associate laughing with a good time and letting our guard down and being comfortable, and it's a good angle. However, you do have to assess what mood you're in. You never want to try to be funny because that will backfire, and you want it to come out. You want it to flow. You want it to be natural. So I found a good a good thing to do is to stimulate sense of humor is to watch a lot of comedies. Like when I'm watching Chappelle or I'm watching like Chris Rock, I don't know, I'm aging myself, but Reno, I find that I'm more like laughing all the time. I'm thinking of it, I'm talking about it, and just it also releases oxytocin, which is a neurotransmitter that produces feelings of contentment and well-being. So I mean, it's just being funny. You can't go wrong. So now if you do say something that she doesn't find funny, never ever feel embarrassed, never apologize. Instead, turn it around on her. Go, oh, I see we don't share the same humor. I guess I can never really marry you. Or, turn it around on her. And then just be like, so tell me, what's funny to you? What's the funniest thing you've ever seen? Ask her a question like that, an interesting question. So, I don't know if you picked up on this. Avoid being generic and predictable. Generic answers, generic responses. Like if she's like, oh, I'm from New York. Oh, do you like being from New York? Don't do that. Instead, be like, oh, I love New York. I graduated from NYU with my undergrad. I'm not going to tell you how long ago, but basically I used to ride dinosaurs to class. No, but seriously, is it true that New Yorkers feel like it's gotten so dangerous they don't want to go out at night anymore? Yeah, something that because I heard that in the news. I used to go to school in New York. I used to be pretty safe, and I haven't gone in a while to the city. But something that like I'm from Colorado. Like, oh, do you still go to Main Street? I don't know. But you know what I mean? Something that something about, and that you can tell her something about you. Like, I've been there, I used to do this, and then ask a question. So, a conversation consists of back and forth. There's nothing more annoying than a guy being like, so, where are you from? Where do you live? Have you lived there where you live? What do you do? Bombarding you with questions. A conversation is give and take, which is why a guy should divulge some information about him and then ask a question. Women don't try as hard as guys in this initial stage. So unfortunately, it's your job for this. Am I being sexist? No, I'm being real. Not my fault, but it is what it is. So you want to make assumptions instead of asking questions. Like, oh, you look like you're a tourist. Do you need, have you heard about this place in downtown? Oh my gosh, I tell every tourist, every one of my friends who come here to visit, I send to this restaurant, you've got to go. And, and then she can say, yeah, I am a tourist. And then, where are you from? Or she could say, no, I've lived here my life. You're like, well, that is so odd. I never get that wrong. Now that's the only time you can be insincere, I think, because, whatever. But otherwise, you want to be consistent and sincere, except for that one comment is okay. Another thing, when you do talk to her and you do ask her name, just, by the way, what's your name? When she tells you, use it. Because I learned this in college in psychology. The number one word to anybody's ears is hearing their name. So it also makes a woman feel more comfortable when someone's using her name. Again, she'll likely let her guard down a little bit. And most guys don't do that. So another thing that will make you stand out. Okay, and then you want to use eye contact. So you want to use eye contact for about 1 to 2 seconds longer than it feels comfortable. And you want to be caught. So if you're in a place and you are caught staring at her, don't be like uncomfortable about it. Stare, smile, wink if you're feeling ballsy, and own it. That's where the confidence comes in. So I learned this in college too. I had a really intense class. If you have issues with eye contact, my professor paired us up with students, and we had to sit across from each other, stare into each other's eyes for 10 minutes straight and not move. I stared this girl down. She was like so uncomfortable. I guess I won, but neither of us moved away. But just, it did help. I'll give her that. It did help. So, so another quality that will make you stand out from other guys is being a good listener, because guys are typically not a good listener. So you want to also get outside of your head and just be in the moment. And be in the moment. If this video wasn't so long, I'd give you an exercise about that too. But another time, stay in the moment and listen to what she's saying. Then you can ask questions that are coming from a thoughtful place rather than just a superficial question just so you could say that you said words. I don't know. So you want to be a good listener, and then if things actually work out down the road, she'll be super impressed if you can recall details from old conversations like that. It will make her think that you're very special, because guys are known to really do that. Again, about confidence, women will mirror your emotions. So if you're all like fidgety and uncomfortable, it's going to be an uncomfortable time. Even if you can just act relaxed and, and this, sometimes it does work, the fake it till you make it. I'm not a big fan of that, but if you are in the middle of a conversation, you feel like your mind is starting to feel, out there, bring it back to the center and just be like, I'm doing great. Kick yourself out of your mind and just, be like, I'm relaxed. Tell yourself you're relaxed. Because we do have the ability to shut our thoughts off. As soon as a thought pops in your head that you don't like, it's not driving you forward, do not let it snowball, because that's when it starts to create those networks, and it takes 24 to 48 hours to form a semi-permanent memory, and once it's there, it's harder to get rid of, although there's no memories are permanent. If we wired it in, we can unwire it. And I know you're like, well, no memories are permanent, because it's how we perceive things. So we can go back and change our perception to bad memories and design them into ones that are more manageable and less traumatic and hurtful. Sorry. Okay. So lastly, I'm going to talk about giving compliments without being creepy. So when you give a woman compliments, did I say already, do not say anything sexual? No, but I'm going to now. Do not be the first to say anything sexual, any sexual innuendos, anything like that, until she says it first. and you're sure that it's going to be taken okay, because there's nothing more unattractive than when you're not attracted to a guy and he says something sexual. It's like, oh, because in online dating, when that happened, it was the grossest feeling. And it doesn't, and if you don't do it, and she's not attracted to you, it doesn't mean she's not going to be attracted to you in the future. It just means she doesn't know you well enough. So starting off with innuendo sexual comments like that is just not a good idea. So, okay, so back to the compliments. So you want to take into consideration, again, the environment, where you're at, her appearance, and how well do you know her? And when I say her appearance, I'm saying, like, is she hot or is she not? Because when you're giving a hot girl compliments, the last thing you want to do is compliment her on her looks, which she hears all the time. That's all she's, you want to stand out. Compliment her on something that is maybe her, at work, her work ethic. Maybe at a club, how she's such a talented dancer, or she's got such a unique style. You really value women who, well, not value, you really appreciate women who don't follow the trends and who are more about individuality. Give her a compliment like that. And then the not so hot girls, you want to compliment their appearance. You want to, be genuine though. You have beautiful teeth, you have beautiful smile, your eyes, or, your shirt, your dress brings out your eyes. Nothing sexual. So you got to do it backwards there. So, and how well do you know her? That's another thing. Because then if you know her a little better, you can be a little more edgier. But you want to, tell a hot girl, well, it's so funny. Usually women don't make me laugh, but I like it, something like that. Or I love your laugh. It's really cute, or it's contagious, or, something like that. A coworker, you want to be like, that project that we're doing this weekend, I know that you're going to submit an amazing project. You always blow it out of the water, or something like that. And then one more thing is that a misconception is that women who are hotter are harder to get. And then men end up approaching, mediocre women. It's not true. It's not true at all. Women are attracted to men for different reasons. We're not attracted to their looks. We're attracted to their game. We're attracted to their confidence. We're attracted to their, their characteristics that make them attractive. I made a video yesterday about what women want. Go listen to that one. And looks have very little to do with it. Although you do want to be put together, you don't want to be vain. I also, if you're interested in getting an ebook with picture example, just very simply written, and it just shows like basic styles that you can emulate easily in every price range pretty much, and tips and tricks how to improve your looks, how you can make yourself look better, hygiene necessities that if you do not have on your routine, I guarantee that you're gonna turn a woman off. Like, do you floss daily? Because if you don't, your breath is gonna smell at arm's length. So things like little tips like that. That one's not as long, but is not as in depth as the other ebook. But hit me up on Fiverr. Message me, say that you're interested in whatever ebook, both, and I will gladly send them to you. So that's pretty much it. So there are a lot of ways that you can approach women, and also if you want to practice, I have questions that I wrote for my clients, and it was an assignment that they can think about, think of some interesting stories that you can pull up. Put a video or something funny on your phone to have readily available in case there's like a low dip in the conversation that, or something like that. Oh, speaking of, I missed a whole section. I'm sorry. Okay. You want to make sure that you give her a time constraint upon your initiated conversation. Tell her that you only have about 5-10 minutes to talk because you got to go meet your friends and you don't want to be rude. It's showing that you have a life, it's showing that you're in demand, and it's not making her feel like, when is this going to end? She knows it has a shelf life. So also, when you do that, you want to leave on a high note. So if things get awkward in the conversation or there's a silence, that's not the time to bounce. The time to bounce is when you have a high note and ha 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 ha. All right, let me go. By the way, I'd like to continue this. Let me get your number, because she will associate positivity with you, and that is a good way. So anyway, if you're interested in the questions, I can post them in the description. I'll post them for you. Okay, well, thank you for coming by. Please subscribe and like. I know this channel is really new, so I don't expect too much for now, but I'd appreciate it though. All right, guys, thanks.